Major WWE announcement. Plus, we're going to be discussing a top WWE legend who will not be appearing at Saturday night's main event, and some really good news for those who enjoyed TNA live on Access TV and TNA Plus. Welcome back to the Ango Show, ladies and gentlemen. I want to kick things off with some TNA news. If you guys didn't watch TNA live, it was the first live episode in over 8 years. Just a tremendous episode. We saw Mance Warner. We saw TNA's response to PCO. We saw Mustafa Ali confirm his new signing. We saw so much great stuff. Matt Cardona returned. Just a really, really good episode. And executives and people behind the scenes at TNA have been very, very happy with the reception. Their show looked great. It was great booking. The crowd reaction was great. In addition to that, they're coming off of TNA Genesis, which saw the most tickets sold in like a very, very, very long time. Now, PWInsider.com has reported that TNA management was very happy with the live broadcast and felt like it went smoothly. The report also added that the hope is for TNA to do this at least once a month going forward, but that is not locked in stone. I want to address this because about a year or two ago, roughly, if you look back, I had come out with some talk about TNA's plan to go live more often. And obviously there's a lot of resources that are required for that to happen. Part of that report was also that TNA would be going into bigger arenas and upgrade production. And we've seen them go into bigger venues. We've seen them upgrade their production, but we haven't seen them go live consistently yet. And I am super excited about the idea of them going live again. To be honest, it's my biggest complaint about TNA. If you go back in the history of this channel, the more and more that they've done pre-tapes, like they could have some really good content, but I just think taped wrestling sucks. It doesn't matter the company. If it's Collision, SmackDown, Raw, TNA, I think you can tell a noticeable difference when something is live and the energy is there, especially in the realm of social media. We have the ability to live tweet and follow along, and it's just a different atmosphere for when the product is live. So I am very, very excited about this. I think the right approach would be to go live once a month, and then the following day you could tape for the following week. Or following weeks, and I think that could be a really cool solution. But eventually, I do want to see two things happen with TNA. I need to see TNA go live, and I need to see TNA on a better TV deal. We could talk all day about booking and subjective things, but I think when it comes to the health of the pro wrestling industry, if TNA is going live every single week, AEW is going live every single week, and WWE goes live every single week, this would be really good for the business. That brings us to Saturday night's main event and Hulk Hogan. There's obviously been no confirmation from WWE that 100% Hulk Hogan will be appearing on Saturday night's main event. Now, if you follow social media on the dirt sheets, the belief is that Hulk Hogan was penciled in for Saturday night's main event. And then obviously this led to a huge conversation on social media as to how that would be backstage, because Jesse Ventura will be on Saturday night's main event. Obviously, everybody knows the documented history there between the two, but a lot of people were kind of curious about that. A lot of people were kind of concerned about that. Now, Dr. Chris Featherstone, you might see him on Sportskeeda. He has been dropping some great scoops lately, and this guy has been hitting things pretty accurately. So I think it's safe to say that this is a well-trusted source. But he has come out and said that he's been informed that Hulk Hogan will not be appearing on Saturday night's main event due to family commitments. Listen, WWE's not actively advertising him, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm obviously not a fan of Hulk Hogan. I've been very clear about that pretty much my entire YouTube career, like 15 years at this point. I understand why people like Hulk Hogan. I understand why you guys are fans of him. That's cool. I never really was a fan of him as a performer. I've never really cared for the guy. Just that's my own personal perspective. But at the same time, too, I'm not dumb. I know that Hulk Hogan is very influential in the world of pro wrestling. I know that Hulk Hogan is a very big deal in pro wrestling, and obviously he still has a lot of fans. But at the same time, too, there is nothing that Hulk Hogan could have added of value to Saturday night's main event. To be honest with you guys, I don't look at this as a big deal for him missing the show. Now, is it really due to family commitments? I don't know. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, based on the report, it's due to family commitments. Some people believe that, because of Jesse Ventura being there, maybe this is WWE's way of keeping them separate. I don't know. Honestly, I'm going to be real. Listen, Hulk Hogan does not provide value to WWE programming, and I don't think he is needed. I don't want to see him on WWE programming. There's been rumors that, if he goes to San Antonio and he goes live on Saturday night's main event, he's going to portray a heel character, and they might use that to do something, obviously based on the reaction from the Netflix premiere. And guys, I don't care about Hulk Hogan. I'm not going to sit here and act like any of it would be a game changer for WWE. And I'm sure for the people in the suits and the executives who care about the names that are there and that kind of thing, maybe it matters. But for me as a fan, this is not make or break. For some of you guys, it might be. Personally speaking, the way I'm looking at this is that it's fine. It's just let him, we don't need him on WWE programming. I think that's pretty much all I got to say about that. And that brings us to our next topic. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, WWE is doing something that I would have never guessed they would do. I don't even know if this is a good idea, to be honest. I don't know if this is a good idea for a professional wrestling company. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I fully support this. But I'm intrigued by it because it is a new idea, for me, at least as a fan, from my perspective. This is a very big announcement. WWE, obviously very popular, they have come to an agreement with Sirius XM Radio, and they will broadcast the audio of Saturday night's main event live on NBC Sports Sirius XM channel 85 this weekend. Now, there has been talks about WWE in the past. They did like the WWF radio thing. That was in the 90s, bro. Like, I was a baby, so I can't really tell you about that experience. I don't really know how to offer some sort of value to that. But apparently WWE did it decades ago, and this is the first time since then that they're going to be doing it. Do I think this is a cool thing? Yeah, I think the idea of having a wrestling show broadcasted on radio is really cool. I imagine for those who might be driving during Saturday night's main event, they have the ability to go on Sirius XM and listen to the broadcast, because obviously you can listen to the radio while you drive. You can't watch Peacock while you drive, right? But having an audio feed is pretty interesting. Will it help? Will it grow? Do they do commercials? What is that whole experience like? I don't know, but I do find it fascinating. And listen, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. If it works out for them, cool. I think then maybe AEW and WWE should do this for all pay-per-views, right? I don't know if traditional radio or Sirius XM radio has big viewership. Obviously for me, like when I'm driving around or when I'm, I don't listen to the radio. I listen through Spotify, right? So that's where I get my content. But if they're doing a live feed through Sirius XM radio, I'm very, very curious to see how that performs and what that experience is like. So I'm going to try to tune in at some point and see what that experience is like. And if it's cool and if it works, I'm down for that being implemented across all of professional wrestling. I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of like nerding out a little bit. But I can't say this is a great thing because I really don't know if it is. But I think that the idea of it is cool, that there's an audio feed of a wrestling pay-per-view-esque show. If it's successful, yeah, why not? Why not have AEW and WWE and pretty much every wrestling company for that matter try to do something? How do they look at viewership? How do they look at advertising revenue possibilities? I don't know. I don't know what that's like. But should be very interesting to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.